Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and welcome back to another episode of my Out of the Park 20 playthrough with the Phillies. So we are into the playoff stretch of this 2040 season. We got 26 games left. I had a rocky patch there, middle of the season, when I last left you in the All-Star break. But we kind of got things turned back around, and we're in a really comfortable spot right now. I won't feel truly comfortable though until the season's over, because I've seen so many times a collapse can happen. A team that's playing good all year long, you get to that last month of the season, you bring up some call-ups, it kind of ruins the chemistry a little bit sometimes, or you get some injuries going on. But I am feeling good about this team. We are currently 83-53, 8 games over New York for the National League East lead. We'll take a look at all the standings. We are a half game behind San Francisco for the best record in the National League. I would really like to, clinch the division for sure, but yeah, I wouldn't mind having that home field advantage in the playoffs. We have been really good of late. 8 of 10. We've won three-game winning streak. I'm hoping that's going to be enough to hold off the Mets for sure. But some interesting things I'll look at before we start playing out the games or simming out the games, and we'll finish up the season this episode. This has been truly a team effort. One of the ways you can kind of tell that, for me anyway, is if you look at these leaderboards, and we've got some guys I'm sure who are showing up top 10 in several categories, but the only two places where we have leaders, and they're really positive signs. Juan Mendoza at 42 saves, which ties his career record. He's having just a great season. And then Zach Thompson, that rookie pitcher. I had a commenter on the channel say he's looking like a Hall of Fame pitcher, and fingers crossed, it's way too early. But this guy has 16 wins. He's coming off a month in August when he was the pitcher of the month and rookie of the month. I have really never seen a guy in this playthrough for sure, but it's been several versions when I could even remember a pitcher coming out looking this good to start his career. He's at 16-5, a 3.80 ERA. Just, the wins above replacement maybe doesn't tell the whole story. I mean, he's had some games where he's stumbled a little bit, maybe gave up 6 runs in a game or so here or there. But man, that is a great start to his career. Just 24 years old. So I'm hoping if he stays injury free, I'll have him till he's around 30. So this guy could really anchor this rotation for the next several years. But also, it's a team effort because for some of you longtime watchers, you'll see what I'm talking about here. I mean, there have been years where we've had great pitching, poor offense, great offense, poor pitching. We're not really leading in too many categories, but man, we are just solid on both sides of the ball. The only thing that's a little poor is that starter's ERA. It's 8th in the league. Could be better. We do miss McAfee. Thankfully, we've got Zach Thompson, or that would be a different story, I'm sure. But from defense, all the way up, pitching, defense, offense, everything's looking good. The only thing really offense is home runs, and it's been such a long time since I've had some really good home run hitters. I mean, even when Josh Gordon was on the team and hitting 49 home runs, I don't think I was leading the league. So home runs have gotten a lot more prevalent, I guess you'd say, in this playthrough. A lot of 50-plus home run seasons typically. It's just not how I've been building the team, so I'm not too worried about that. But record by month, if you also look at that, we've been really consistent except for July when we were 12-12 at 500, but came back, had our best month ever of the season in August. And, I just think that's going to hopefully be enough to get us back into the playoffs, sure, but hopefully winning that division again. Taking a look at the pitching stats, Pete Parker has been a little bit better than he was. He's still got a chance, hopefully, to get double digits in wins. And if he does, that would give me all 5 starters with double digits in wins, which is hard to get in general. With the way the bullpen usage has gotten in Major League Baseball, it's really tough to have a starting rotation with double digits in wins all up and down the line. So that's been a good sign, both from, you throw out the McAfee injury. That means that our rotation has stayed healthy, and they're fairly consistent. I mean, Dion's having an off year, and he's still got 10 wins right now. And then I mentioned Mendoza, 42 saves, might hit 50 this year. Hard to say, but he's already tied his career best. This might be the year, hopefully, he gets the reliever of the year, I'm hoping. On the lineup side, some good things from like Norman. His average has been pretty good. I mean, I still don't know if he's going to be a dominant player, either offensively or defensively, but he's solid enough. But these 2 pickups I had in free agency last year, Tupper and Vega, I mean, those are my home run guys. 26 for Tupper, 24 for Vega. Those were good pickups. Sean Riggs is having a better season than he had for me last year. He's still not hitting to the level I expect with his ratings, but he's contributing for sure. Bond was injured quite a bit, but he's having a better year than last year. This, though, might be the story of the offense. Gene Warlick is a guy. Aguirre was starting to struggle in right field. I just didn't want to risk it going down the stretch, that the offense were to get cold. And so Warlick was a guy who came up in a trade offer from Chicago, and I was able to get him for Jimmy Mannion, who is a good pitcher, but I was pretty solid and stocked at pitching, so I let him go. And he has been probably the best offensive player in the second half of the season. I picked him up early July, I think shortly after that episode, last episode. He's hitting 300, but his OPS is at 968, Ops plus 159. I really like his makeup. He's going to be back with his team next year. He is eligible for arbitration, but I might finally have a good full-time solution at right. I like how this guy's playing. So that's everything catching up with the team right now. We're going to go ahead and last thing we'll do, and then we'll play out the rest of the season, is look at the pennant chase. Where we're really struggling is the records, not records, but the home and away schedule, 10 at home, 16 away, but remaining winning percentage of that schedule at .471, that's pretty good. New York, they're even worse. They have a worse situation than we do. 26 games, but 9 at home, 17 away. Remaining schedule of .500. It's looking good, but I'm not gonna count on it yet until that final game comes at the end of the season. So let's get started. We're on the road against Cincinnati, then home against Kansas City. And first game up, a big win, 7-2. That's how we've been playing. And Warlick, again, 3 for 4, drove in 3. Riggs, 2 for 3. Barbarossa, his 15th win. Still on pace for 18. Great season from him. I did see that we got a trade proposal, a catcher. A good catcher, but I don't need him at this point, and not going to worry about that. So game 2 against Cincinnati, another win in extra innings, 10 innings, 7-6. Offense is looking good so far in this series. Again, Warlick 2 for 5, drove in 3. Vega 3 for 5. Ken Dion did not get the win. He did give me 7 innings. Mendoza hung in there to get the win in relief. So I think that's 5 in a row we've won. And another trade proposal. They're wanting Warlick here. Man, he's getting some notice. I think that was one of those things. Two things, honestly, that have made this season is Zach Thompson playing well and me picking up that Warlick guy at the trading deadline. And we swept Cincinnati 6-1. Warlick again, 3 for 5, scored 2 runs. Oh man, what a player! Contreras, a solid 6-inning outing from him. And keeping up with the news here, Reds, we knocked them out of the playoffs. So now we got Kansas City at home. A loss 1-4, and Zach Thompson, a day-to-day injury. That would be the kicker to the season if I lose him. He was injured early too in that first inning, and they charged him with the loss, which sucks. But thankfully, it's just a day-to-day. He'll be ready for his next start. Fairly big blow, I guess, for Cincinnati. A big up-and-comer there. All right, so Game 2 against Kansas City, 3-0 shutout. And this might be Parker. He was pitching. Let's hope he gets the win. And he does. His 9th win, 7 innings, just 1 hit, 12 strikeouts. That's the pitcher I thought I was getting when I traded for him. Mendoza, his career best 43rd save. And then this final game against Kansas City, can we win the series? Oh, come on. And we do, 2-1. And that's one of those things that's kind of like the Tony La Russa strategy is, if you can win all your series, two games out of 3 and split the 4-game series, you're going to have a great season. And that's what's going on here. Not much offense here, but Benefield, a rookie I called up, he may have had a key hit in the game. Barbarossa didn't get the win, but Mendoza his 44th save. So let's take a look at the news here. Players of the week: Boza, Houston's Lanier in Washington. Power rankings, we're at 2nd, and we've been top 3, top 4 almost the whole year. I don't even think we've dipped out of the top 10 for sure since the start of the season. And showing it on the records wise, I mean, we're now 11.5 up over New York. Magic numbers at 9. Chicago's playing just a little bit better. They're 7-game win streak. So we're a game back of them for the best record in baseball. So now we got a 4-game series against St. Louis. St. Louis fighting for that wild card. They could be tough in this series. Game 1, we win 6-1. Let's see who the pitcher here was, but Tupper, a good game. He's up to 28 home runs. Sellers, good game, a call up in September. Ken Dion, his 11th win, got his ERA down below 4. That's good for him. Another trade proposal. I'm still getting those, and I'm just, I don't like doing trades after that trade deadline. It's a little bit too much of a hassle. And we lose in that 2nd game to St. Louis. Warlick 1 for 3. Not much offense here. Riggs, 278 batting, 276 batting average. Not too great. Contreras, though, pitched a good game. They pitched better. That's all you can say. Now, Game 3, we win 5-1. That was a minor league injury, I think, Steve White. But let's see how this one went. Eubanks and off the bench, 2 for 3. Good game from him. And then Zach Thompson, 7 1/3, just 1 run, his 17th win of the year. He might get close to 20. He's projected at 19, but man, that would be an amazing rookie year. All right, so we split this 4-game series. Can we win? Go up. And we do 5. Well, that was into that last game. All right, Game 4, we win in extra innings, and we are up 13.5 games now over the Mets. I think we've got this one in hand pretty easily. All right, so in this game, Norman, big game, 3 for 6, 5 runs, drove in 5. Millspaw, who's been a little bit, that was another reason I picked up Warlick. Millspaw hasn't been the player I was hoping he would be. But pitching-wise, Parker pitched really a sound game. 5 innings, just 1 earned run. But bullpen was shaky and wound up losing it to come back and win it in that 13th inning. And hey, Kevin Cox, a former Philly, looks like he's going to be out for rest of the year, and really 4 to 5 months. That's a serious injury for him. Still, he's had a good career. I've kind of been back and forth. I traded him away, I think, for a pitching prospect that didn't really turn out, but I'm still okay with losing him. He's getting way more money than he's worth, $28.4 million. All right, so now we got San Francisco on the road. This is an interesting one because they're battling us for that best record, and we overcame Chicago, who's lost 3 in a row. So we had the best record in the National League right now. So this would be a good series to win, 2 out of 3. Game 1, 6-1. Man, a lot of those scores 6-1 that you're seeing. Benefield was good in this one. This guy, I think, is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to double check it, but I am going to need center field next year, and I'm hoping this guy is going to be ready. He was a former first-round pick. He's looked okay. His average could be better, but he's looked pretty decent in the minors. He might have a chance at developing. Barbarossa picks up his 16th win. Game 2 against San Francisco, 5-1. Man, that pitching is incredible right now. Bond, that's the one I was thinking of. He's going to be gone, I think, after this year. Let me double check. No, he's got a player option, so he may be back. Koopman, flirting once again with 300. He had a good game here. Warlick drove in 3, and what a great pickup that was. And then Ken Dion, his 12th win. He's starting to pitch pretty good. Mendoza, his 45th save, probably still leading the league. Oh, man, but here's something. Kwarteng, though he's not the starter, is going to be day-to-day. I think the way I've got this lineup, let's move it out to 7th game. Yeah, that's fine. And hopefully he will be available for the playoffs. And we secure the wild card, but obviously that's not what we're going for. 93 wins. We want the best record in baseball right now, or at least the National League. And we lose that final game against San Francisco, but I'm okay with that. I think we can handle that loss. Contreras, though, pretty poor outing. But looking at the weekly news, players of the week, not familiar with him at Texas. Owusu, Palco. Weekly rankings, we're first. So is that Cubs, they've clinched, but does that mean that we have the best record in baseball? And we do. By not much, but we do. And look at this. Arizona has tied San Francisco. I didn't see that coming. So that's going to turn out to be a pretty good race there for the National League West. And we're going to be on the road against San Diego. San Diego having another poor year. I hope we don't lose out here. They could be playing for pride. Game 1, 4-5. Tough loss. Offensively, Warlick again had a decent game. Zach Thompson, 6 innings, just 3 runs, but the bullpen kind of lost it. And Dean is a guy I called up. He probably will not. I don't think he's ready for full-time duty. I don't think I'll leave him up there for the playoff run. Now, game 2 against San Diego. 3-2, a squeaker. Man, that was tight. Tupper, 29 home runs now for him. Hobbs was good off the bench. Kwarteng did play in this one. And Parker, 8 innings strong, picked up his 10th win. He's on pace for 4+ wins above replacement. So for the most part, the guys kind of turned it around after that terrible start. And that's good to see. Mendoza, 46 saves. Don't know if he's going to get to 50. That would be a good milestone. And then game 3, San Diego, we win 6-3. So another series that we've won here. And man, look at the injuries down there in Lakewood. Andy Goodwin out 4 months, 5 months. Pereira, 4 to 5 months. I think these guys, though, can't be on the... I think they put him back. He's out. Man, a lot of guys out here. And And I want to check something too. I know I'm bouncing back and forth here, but let me go over the line for this game. Riggs led off and had a decent game. Warlick another solid game, and Benefield, he has looked really good since I called him up. Barbarossa is 17th win, so I think that ties him with Thompson for the team lead. But I wanted to check because I like to have these extensions done. Yeah, I think I've gone through and signed the guys I wanted to sign. I like to have the coaching minor league, which is something that I do because I don't have an assistant GM. I like to have those guys signed by the end of August if I'm going to keep some. So I forgot if I went through and did that. All right, so looking at the news now, Luis Guardado hit his 2000th hit, and he's another one. It's a lot of plus 500 home runs in this playthrough and the one I did with the Reds. Rangers are in the playoffs, and we finally clinched that National League East, really going away. We clinched it. Amazing. And then got a fairly decent minor league fine, or international free agent fine for my scout. All right, so we got a tough series coming up here against Atlanta, and I say tough because, again, they could be playing for pride, trying to stay above 500 for their season. And Rob LaRue, a former Philly, career-ending injury. That's a shame, but he had a decent, a couple years with us, 17 wins, 13 wins, yeah. He had a decent couple years with us, over 200 home runs, 200 strikeouts, sorry. But now I guess he's gone, but he's at 37. He didn't have much career left. All right, so looking at the standings, we do have the best record in baseball. So we got to keep this going. Game 1 against Atlanta, 8-10. Whew, bloodbath. We did have some good offense from a few guys: Riggs, Vega, Koopman, Condeshera, the pitcher, even had a good. Oh man, this was all bullpen. Ken Dion, a good game, but man, Morrison, who's been steady, and DeCluet, both those guys have been steady, had a rough outing. So game 2 against Atlanta, we win 5-2, and Tupper is 30th home run, and then Contreras he didn't get the win, but Mendoza is 48 save, so that's good news. And then game 3 against Atlanta, I guess that was rained out, or was it? I guess that was rained out, so we'll have to make that one up at the end of the season. All right, so now let's look at some news real quick. So our scout, who did he find? Usually when you get that exclamation mark from your scout, he's found a decent player. So potential 3-star who can play a lot of positions, and he's got good work ethic ratings. That's good. Let's see. And another trade proposal. Pitcher for Dante Eubanks. Wow, that's intriguing. That's intriguing. But he's a relief pitcher who I would really use as a reliever because his stamina is so low. And Dante Eubanks might have a chance to start next year. So best players of the week: Boza, Medlin, and San Francisco. And power rankings, we're still first. And we are 2 games up, it looks like, over Chicago and San Francisco. And now we got Miami, who's had a tough year. Game 1, 5-2. They could play spoiler here for sure. Bond, a good game here, 3 for 5. Riggs, 2 for 4. So that's kind of been where he's at, that 278 average. He's been there most of the year. Thompson, his 18th win. Mendoza, his 49th save. Some big milestones potentially from those two. Game 2 against Miami, 4-0. Tupper, his 31st home run. Parker, his 11th win. Man, 7 innings, 4 hits, no walks, no runs, 11 strikeouts. So he's definitely playing the way I hoped he would play. Game 3 against Miami, 2-3, losing extra innings. That's a tough one. I would hope that we could keep winning here. Barbarossa didn't pitch bad, and honestly, the bullpen didn't pitch bad. It's just I guess we ran out of innings there towards the end. And any news here? Some more talent, man. My scout has been finding a lot of players, some good, some bad. So this last game against Miami, can we win this series? And we don't, 3-4. So they are playing spoiler a little bit. Lockhart came off the bench, played pretty well there. Ken Dion didn't get too deep into this game. And then Pan, a guy who I called up in September, he's going back down. So now, 98-60. We got 3 games left against New York and then that makeup game against Atlanta. New York, they are still in line for the wild card. We're still in good shape if we can win out for sure to have the best record in baseball and maybe even 100 wins, which has never happened in this playthrough. So game 1 against New York, we win 9-3. Injury there in the minors. I'll take care of real quick. So a lot of good offense performance here. Bond 3 for 6, scored 3. Koopman 3 for 5. Warlick 3 for 5. Riggs averaged up to 280. Drove him 5 in this game. Good game from him. Contreras picked up his 12th win. Awesome. So now we just got to win 2 of these next 3 to finish. One of these next 3 games to finish at 100 for the year, and we do. Wow, what a season. 6-1 over the Mets. Warlick, another good game. Tupper, 3 for 5. Sellers, who's a guy who's been up and down the last couple years anyway. Good off the bench. And then Thompson, win number 19, which is where he's going to end up. But what a rookie season. I don't know if he's going to get Rookie of the Year. I think he should. Anytime you see a pitcher come in, first full year in the majors, wins 19, that's not easy to come by. So a great season from him, unbelievable season from him. And so last game against New York, 8-1, just incredible series to end this year. We still got 1 game against Atlanta, but 101 wins. That's for sure going to put us with the best record in baseball. Some good performances here from a few guys in the offense. Parker pitched a good game, couldn't get the win, but that's all we needed. 101 wins. That's incredible. I don't think we've had above 94 in this series. So I'm going to finish this last game, and that'll be it. And I don't know why they keep. I don't know why we keep pushing this game. So the playoffs are about to begin, and we got to play Atlanta. I'm not sure why we can't get this game in. Easily the best record in baseball. Only team above 100 wins this year. So last game of the season, and we win 2-1. Unbelievable pitching performance down the stretch. Riggs finished at 277. Not bad. I mean, he's got 102 walks, a great on-base percentage. Ops is good. 5.2 wins above replacement. So long story short, he did give me, I think, what I was hoping that he would give me this year, so that was good. And then Barbarossa, 18th win of the season, and save number 50 for Mendoza. If this doesn't get this guy the reliever of the year this year, I don't know what's going to do it. And he might be 192 saves. He might be up there on the Phillies all-time list already. That would be good news, too. I've got him signed for, I think, 2 more years after this one. I hope he keeps his ratings for that long. But what a season. 102 wins. Best record ever. Just to give you an idea how big a year that was. Our best record previous to this, again, 94 wins. So 102 wins, by far the best record I've ever had. And that was without McAvee. The basically number 1, number 2 starter on the team. Lost him for the whole season. This is just easily the best year I've had. Amazing. I'm so happy with the way this turned out. So let's go ahead and look at the end of the year news. Still got my scout out there finding some players. I want to look at the player update just quickly. It looks like Thompson did pick up some ratings. He's looking even better. OSA doesn't think his control is quite there, but it's going to get there, so that's good. Pete Parker did lose some more. Josh Dean improved a little bit. Like I say, I don't know if he's ready full time, but this guy's going to be, I think, a good reliever down the road. Lockhart, a guy I wish I could trade. He's on the downswing of his career. And then Villalobos, a guy who might get some look next year in spring. I'm not seeing any of my really big prospects picking up any numbers here. This guy, though, looks pretty good. He was a former number 2. He's got a chance if he keeps developing to make that rotation down the line. Ben Radeball, I think, he was a first-round pick. I think he's got a good chance too, coming off a decent year at Single A. Jen Stutzman, Juan Ramos, Eric Nelson. I don't know if he was a big draft pick. So I got, Pat Brinky. This is a guy who, a closer I drafted pretty high. He's got some good upside too to him. So, I think I've got a pretty good looking minor league system. I haven't looked at the rankings in a while. Let's see. We are 13th, so we're above the middle of the pack, but they've got Thompson in there. He's going to move off after this year. Rabolo, this guy he was a scouting discovery. I really like this guy. He's just 20 years old. This is his first year in the minors, and I put him right away at the low A team in that I think that's Williamsport in the low A team, and he had a solid year, and his development could be really good. He could be on a fast track easily. And then the last guy for the Phillies, Gramajo, that pitcher I was just looking at, he's got a good chance, I think, to make the rotation down the road too. All right, so looking at players of the month, Boza for Houston, and then Suzuki, that guy who's just tremendous player in Arizona, a Japanese international free agent. He had a good year. And then top pitchers, I'm already looking at it here. For September, it was Pete Parker in Philadelphia. So definitely a good ending for him. Hopefully that means he's going to be ready for the playoffs. Rookies of the month, Danny Rigdon for Boston. Pretty decent 2.5-star player. And then Juan Saravia for Washington. Weekly team power rankings. We've had the best record in baseball, so I would hope that we would be up there. Eastern League awards. Do we have anybody here? I think Eastern League is double A, right? Yeah, double A. And we didn't have anybody on there. That sucks. And it's another trade proposal, a catcher. Don't need that. All right, so we are ready for the playoffs. Once again, winning that the National League East 2 years in a row. First time in this playthrough I've done that. First time I've hit 100 wins. I'm feeling good about it, but playoffs are a whole different story. I mean, it's hard to predict what's going to happen in the playoffs, but I do think that was a great year. I'm happy with it. I want to get to that next level. Some good teams here, though. Arizona, San Francisco. Arizona always tough. I mean, they were tough against us in the playoffs, I think, last year, but they, if I'm not mistaken, they may have been the team that made it to the World Series from the National League last year. No, it was the Cubs. But I think they're a tough team. They've been around, I think, for a few seasons playing good in this playthrough. Individual performances to look at. Nobody hit 50 in the National League, which is kind of odd at this point. Randy Palco led the league in wins above replacement. That usually corresponds to the MVP. I think, though, this guy Joe Howard, he's injured, though. Their best player, he's out, so that can be tough. And then Thompson and Barbarossa, both top 3 in wins. I've never seen a rookie hit that high in wins on a team of mine. But this guy right here, he's a dominant pitcher. I think he's got a lock on the Cy Young, and he's out. Whew. So that's a big blow for San Francisco. So you got San Francisco and Arizona with 2 huge injuries going into the playoffs. And then Mendoza, 50 saves, did lead the league. Gosh, I hope he gets the reliever of the year. That would be a shame if he doesn't. And then in the American League, I didn't really highlight this, but it's something I was kind of paying attention to. Texas has a guy here, Jeremy Dahl. He was injured a little bit, but he was hitting at 415, 416 late into the season. He wound up hitting 401. I'm almost positive that's the first time I've seen above 400 in this playthrough, and it's rare that you see it in modern. When you have the modern settings, I think that's what I'm using is like today's settings for this playthrough. Great season to miss like 30 plus games and still over 200 hits, hitting 401. That's just incredible. If he wasn't injury prone, I'd say this is an up and coming Hall of Fame, sure shot to make the Hall of Fame, but looks like he's been injured a lot. If I go to his injury history, he missed 5 weeks at one point this year. He missed 4 weeks, 2 weeks. God, he missed, that looks 2 months, over 2 months last year, it looks like. 2 months in 2037. That's tough to overcome. And as he ages, he's probably going to be in more injuries down the line, but a great accomplishment, 401. And then pitching, one guy who did not make it this year was Rocky Stroman, and the big reason is he was injured like late in the season for the rest of the season. I think he went out maybe in start of September or end of August. That's rare for this guy. He's been healthy his whole career. First injury time for him. Well, I have to take that back. He did have some injury in 2037. So that I don't know if that's going to hurt his chances. I like keeping tabs on these guys who I think are going to make the Hall of Fame. I don't know if that's going to hurt his chances. He's going to get some votes, but it's going to be interesting to see how he comes back from that injury. But anyway, that's where we're at. We're in the playoffs. I got to get my roster set, and I'll go through and play. More than likely, we'll be playing not more than likely, we'll be playing the winner of the wild card game, which is probably going to be, who's that going to be? New York, Colorado, Arizona, San Francisco. One of those 4 teams, depending on how all these games, I guess, shake out. But I'll go ahead and play until we get up to a deciding game, and I'll be back for that episode. Once again, 2 years in a row, another playoff episode in this playthrough. Hopefully this is the year we make it. But as always, thanks for watching, liking, subscribing. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next episode.